Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Gunman. So today I thought we'd do a workshop review and sort of tour on the place that I've been working here for a while now. Actually, it's nearly a year that I've been here. Yeah, loving working here. I wasn't really loving it at the start, like a bit of adjusting to the PPG, a bit of teething problems with it, but I've pretty much nailed this system. Getting some really killer results out of it, and yeah, just thought I'd give you guys a quick look around the workshop and just shoot the breeze, I guess. So yeah, this is obviously the paint room. As you can see, we've got the PPG EnviroBase, and we do have the Deltron 2K down there, so any sort of commercial vehicles or yeah, something like that, we might, you know, if we get vans or utes in, sometimes we use that on it. All the ancillary products, as you can see there, the color chips there, they can be a little bit hit or miss with PPG, but as you can see there, we've got the 3M PPS system. So this is one that is kind of relatively new. They're actually 80 micron PPS2 lids, which I've been, when I use the EnviroBase, it's quite gritty. Like it's a latex based paint, and what ends up, I figured out what happens is, so if you just leave the normal lid like this on, it'll stay nice and clean, but as soon as you put these lids on, they must have little air pockets in them, right? And it starts sort of drying and clumping up a little bit. So the commonly used tinters, I will actually now, as you can see here, I won't even put that stirrer on. As you can see, the ones that I use often, and a lot of these ones, I'm actually not even using that. I just grab the one behind it. So that's one thing that I found. But yeah, another thing that does help is, well, what I'll do is I'll always sort of double filter. So I'll always, it's a little bit annoying because you've got to waste all these extra pots, but so with Standox, I would just mix it straight up in the PPS pot, put your normal 125 micron lid on, and off you go for painting. But yeah, with this, you've got to mix it up in a separate pot, strain it, like double strain it, and then use the 80 micron. That's what I've found for best results. Otherwise, you just get lots of stuff coming through. But I actually heard that 3M have got some new pots coming out, which is similar to the SATA RPS, which we do have, as you can see down the bottom there. But yeah, so these are in a new pot, hard pot for each job. I do prefer them in that aspect, but as you can see, I don't have RPS adapters for every single one of my guns. So yeah, PPS are coming out with the same adapter, but the same style as that, where each cup is a new hard case pot, rather than with these, if you don't know, you've got to reuse these outer casings, and then you've got the bag that goes inside. But as you can see, they can start getting pretty dirty, and you can do your best to clean them, but yeah, I don't know. I personally don't know why they can't use the same plastic as a normal spray gun pot, which is really easy to clean, but I'm going off on a tangent. What else have we got here? There's my spray guns at the moment. A nice, I've got a second one of these racks from Spray Guns Direct, so again, thanks to them. But yeah, so what guns have I been using lately? I've been using, that's my base coat gun, DV1 base coat, so that's the new school, that's right. And for clear coat, I've been using the Gambler. So we recently just did a giveaway on one of these, again thanks to Spray Guns Direct, so that's awesome. But yeah, so that's got the C2 1.3 on it, and yeah, previously I was using the C1 with the 1.2, but yeah, these days I've sort of changed up, just only recently I've slightly changed up the way that I'm painting, and yeah, a few things. So what I was doing right is, with most clears, you're right to sort of hit bake straight away, and what I found out is that with this 105 clear, you're best off leaving it for 10 minutes, and even when you do bake it, you're best off leaving it for like, you're best off baking it at 45 degrees, because otherwise it'll like solvent boil up on you. So that's, yeah, if you use the 105 clear, guys, and you're getting solvent boil, try that, right? Because I've found, yeah, if you overload it, that's one thing, but too much heat too fast, it doesn't like it. Bit of coffee. But yeah, so next door we've actually got that WRX, which I resprayed a couple of years ago. So we've got to paint the side and the front on that one, so that's why I got that. Get that computer booting up, stir those tinters. and we'll continue on. So what have I got in the spray booth? I'm here at 7 o'clock. I just come in an hour early. I don't even mind just coming in an hour early every day. That's why I'm doing a little video here for you guys. But yeah, so this is what I've got on this morning. These parts here, it's a bit of a chilly morning here. Melbourne sort of coming into winter at the moment. But yeah, this is our prep bay. I don't think I've given you guys a proper shop tour yet, so I thought, why not do one? Getting a strange effect with those lights, but there you go. That's all of our inventory. Look, I mean, the place does need a little bit of a cleanup. We've got a prep guy from Indonesia, and he's away at the moment. So another thing you may have noticed is that they're a nice size spray booth, so you can fit a patrol, so a big car in there, and all of the doors in the same spray booth. So the car there, and then the doors in front of it. Which is definitely good, because when you're doing a respray on, say, a white pearl, or especially even these red Mazdas, which are candies, you want to paint all the sides at the same time. Even if the parts are off the car, you still want to make sure it comes out of the same gun at the same time, in the same conditions. Or else sometimes, like, if you paint the parts at a different time, you get them out, you put them on the car, and they might be a slightly different color. But yeah, so we've got a killer compressor over here, which actually has kind of, I don't know why, it's been overheating. Like, it'll still turn on, but yeah, have a look at that thing. But my boss owns another workshop next door, so what he's done is he's got this big 3-inch pipe from next door into this shop. And yeah, when this compressor's down, we can just turn that tap on from next door, and likewise, when their compressor's down, they can just turn it on and we can share air. So that's kind of cool. Gun cleaning machine, killer thing that is. Yeah, it's really good. You got a water side and a thinners side. I did have them both set up at the very start, but I just ended up realizing you don't even need the water one. So what I'll do is I've got a water flush. I'll flush the most of the gun through with the water, and then clean it with thinners, because like thinners does clean the enviro base off, any bits that have dried, and then just give it another final flush through with that little bit of water, and off you go. That's your waterborne guns. Solvent guns, I've got the normal thinners there. Prep bay here with curtains on it, so if you're ever doing any priming, if you ever do have to do priming in the workshop. But as you see, last night I did, because I had this stuff all ready to go for this morning. But yeah, a lot of the time I'll just prime up in the booth. But like I say, look, there's a perfect example of sometimes you can't, but need be, you'll just shut the curtains. As you can see, we've got all these retractable air lines, retractable electricity and all that. We've got 2 of these prep stations, so they're Merca prep stations, worth quite a few dollars. One of my favorite things about these is the length of those leads there. So you can just leave your prep station here, right? That stays there, and you can get the whole way around the car without having to, like, I do actually prefer this one. Like, you do get less vibration through your hand on the flex, but you're just constantly pulling it around, and like, I don't use it most of the time, but I will use it on the paint strips where you're gonna spend like all day with your hand on it, because I'll get this thing called halves, and yeah, it sort of makes your arm go all tingly. But yeah, let's keep having a look. So this is a detailing bay. As you can see, you've got the full light tunnel. So there's a couple of different kinds of lights in there. You've got the high-powered LEDs with unfiltered light on it, so they are so unforgiving. Like, if you it will just show up every imperfection, but sometimes it can show up too much. So you've got the option, so you can turn each one of these light banks on individually. As you can see, we're really well stocked. We use all of the good quality products. Like, the boss is definitely not a tight ass with anything, but he does expect top quality results. So that's those high bays with unfiltered lights, but if you want, you can turn these ones on. And what we find sometimes is you're nearly sometimes better off turning every second one on, but yeah, we've got the option, as you can see. So yeah, this is the kind of work we do. I think this one's nearly finished. I think you might just have to give it a final glaze over or something like that. But with these jobs here, we get rid of every single D-nib. Like, they've got to be done pretty much perfect. Any imperfection, we don't even ask. Like, let's just say we got a black bit of dust that landed here. there's no, oh, do you reckon we're just gonna get away with it? Like, no, we just fix it. All the edges are nice and clean, nice and smooth. They get polished, they get painted properly as well. Like, yeah, that's one of those things that my boss is all over with the edges. So yeah, over the sort of 8 or 10 months that I've been here, I've sort of developed and improved ways to get better edges and stuff like that. But yeah, so here's some more parts. Obviously they're off that car. This is the car that's in the booth there. So the boys, so we got 2 assemblers here, and then we've got me, the painter, a detailer, and a prepper. But like I said, the prepper's back over in Indonesia at the moment. So the guys are stripping this, and like while they're finishing stripping the rest of the body, I'm on the bonnet and tailgate, and sort of as you saw over there, the bumper was primed up. So this is another one which we've already finished. Full paint strip and respray on this one. All of the metals get done on these patrols, whereas with the red ones, they're full resprays and all the plastics get done on them too. Yeah, but looking really good. I've just pretty much nailed this PPG. I'm just every now and then I'll come up with a new thing to just make it a little bit better, and then a little bit better. And yeah, I'm at the point where I'm really happy with the results we're getting. As you can see there, like nice sort of, like, it's not the absolute flattest clear, but it's very good, and it's better than factory. So yeah, I mean, you couldn't really ask for much better than that. And we do also, so yeah, that's all, as you can see, like everything in it, like that's one thing my boss says. He goes, everything has a place and everything in its place. You know, he's big on like organization and yeah, putting systems into place. And then so basically, because he puts these good systems into place, if anything goes wrong, it's like, mate, it's back onto you in nearly. And but on the other hand, it's sort of, because you got a system in place for everything, it kind of makes it easy. Like, work's actually pretty easy these days for me, but I do enjoy it. But yeah, we've also got this next shop here too. So that's our office over there. These are some of his cars, like loan cars. He's actually selling them. He's got a hire car place too, but we've got lights here. There's a weird banding going on with that video. But yeah, I mean, we don't spend too much time here. It's more for sort of storage. This is where all the action happens. But there you go. So we do have a little bit of section out the back, which we're kind of working on. Always sort of getting more things done. So we do have a little bit of area out the back where he's going to clean all that up and have like a wash and detailing bay out the back there where we can pre-clean cars and wash them up when we're done. But that's about it. How good is it? Like all brand new setup. So yeah, like I was talking to one of my friends about you know, he's looking for a shop, and I'm like, man, there's always gonna be something that you don't like about a place, you know what I mean? So you've just got to choose what you're willing to be okay with that you don't like about a shop. So pretty much here, it's the best shop that I've ever worked in all regards, except I'm not the biggest fan of PPG, but some of the biggest annoyances of me are no longer an issue. So as you may have noticed, we're mainly doing resprays, so the color's not that big of an issue. When you do have to color match, you might only have to do 1 or 2 color matches a week, and then you spend the rest of the time doing a full respray. So those 2 patrols over there, all you got to match it to is the bumpers, you know. And generally it's not too bad, but sometimes you'll just get these colors and yeah, it's not good. And so yeah, like the place I got to with PPG was they'll generally have a variant, but they don't make it easy to find that variant. So what you'll sometimes have to do is mix up 3 different variants, doing your best, using their tools, using their recommended methods to find the best variant. So you've got this digi-match. It's just unreliable. It'll just throw up some really wacky results. Sometimes it'll be the 2nd or 3rd one down that's right. And with resprays, right, you don't want to be matching for a respray. You just want a go-to variant that's good. So that if you need to come back to it, it's just an off-the-machine formula. But yeah, like I say, sometimes you just have to mix up one batch of this, spray it out, no good. Second batch, spray it out, no good. Sometimes you have a color chip. Look, the color chips do replicate. If the color chip looks good, I'll just mix it and paint it. But they're hit and miss, and they also don't make it easy to find the color chips. Like, there should be on the screen of the computer, it should tell you there's the color, and it used to back at the other shop. I don't know what's going on with it. But either way, like just them pretty much minor gripes now. But it seems like little things like the base coat. Their recommended thinning ratio for the base coat is 15% here in Australia, and I heard that they made that themselves. Like, they just pulled it up out of their ass, right? I don't know why they did it. Maybe for coverage, because some of the other brands might cover a little bit better. But all that it ends up doing is making, like, it looks dry. It might look dry to you, and it's not. I don't know, it's not so wet that you can still see the sort of water in it, but it is, like, it actually is still wet. So what happens that when you thin it at 15%, it'll look dry, you'll clear over it, and it'll look fine that day. The next day it just starts pulling back and pulling back and pulling back and pulling back. I couldn't figure that out. That should not be on the painter. And when I did finally figure it out, why should it be on me to... Look, I'm asking the questions, I'm raising this, I'm like, man, why am I losing all this gloss? They come out and they're like, oh, that's fine, don't worry about it, change the top end. I'm like, that's not fine, like, it's not right. And then I finally, only luckily, because I got my Instagram, I'm the Gunman, I'm putting the questions out. Like, it was basically my audience that let me know, man, like, you got a 25% thinners. And then what is, I kind of figured it out as well, because what they used to do is say, read the technical data sheet. When you got a problem, read the technical data sheet. It's like they didn't want to answer, read the data sheet, whatever. So I read the technical data sheet, and it said, so I've got a viscosity cup here, and it said Envirobase should be running through a viscosity cup, I think it was like 24 or 26 seconds, something like that. So I checked it at 15%, we're talking 45 seconds, so their recommended thinning ratio is so far out of what it's meant to be. And yeah, you're not just talking an extra dash of thinners that it should have, you're talking heaps. Like, you're talking an extra 10% or possibly even more when you start getting close to it. So I've found these days 25% across the board all year round, it's going to get you the best results, the less pullback, the less dieback, the best gloss retention. So, but yeah, this is where I have a few frustrations with PPG. These things are avoidable. It doesn't have to be like that, you know what I mean? So it's not like I hate the paint. Like, paint, it's just paint at the end of the day. You know, we can make it work, we're spray painters, but I do have, like, it's, how would that not annoy you? You know, if you're telling me, like, that's gonna be one of the last things that I would look at. This is what I was saying to my detailer, right? The most fundamental thing, like mixing it correctly, you would think, out of all the things, you would think you'd be able to get that basic thing right. But I have to go all the way back to basics, and even, yeah, and again, I raise these issues, you would think that they would come back and say, hey, if you're getting that, I reckon if you put a bit more thinners in, you might lose a little bit of coverage, but if you can, you know, get the right shade of primer, it won't be that big of an issue, and it's not. So yeah, like, that frustrates me. It's just silly. It's not necessary. Like, for a top dollar paint system, like, you're paying big dollars for this stuff. It's not acceptable as far as I'm concerned, and I don't think it's the case in the rest of the world. Yeah, either way, I guess I'm ranting on about my PPG peeves. But apart from that, like, hey, I know that. Like, I pretty much know that. I know how to sort of work around that. And the clears, I don't really like the clears that much. They're not my favorites, but again, I've sort of found the best ways to spray them. These days, I'm warming them up in the colder months. And yeah, so with the 105 clear, which is my preferred one, it's a high gloss clear, but it scratches really easy, so it's not as easy to polish on the really dark ones. But I guess I'm probably starting to ramble on now, so yeah, hopefully you guys picked something up out of this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.